What's going on, peeps? Mastermyne here. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Nintendo's press conference yesterday. They went over price point, they went over services, accessories, video games for their new system. There is a lot to talk about, so let's get started. But first, let me just say, Nintendo fans, you are not going to be happy with me. And I really don't care, because I'm going to put it all out there and I'm not going to hold back at all, because this needs to be said. We need to talk about this, and we need to just kind of look at all of the information and not just be excited that Nintendo's bringing out another console, but we need to take a step back and look at everything and assess what we were looking at. And let me tell you something, I don't think that Nintendo has met the standard that they're known for, but I do think that they get a pass, and we're gonna go in on that. So let's get started. So let me start off with some of the positive things, because I don't want to be 100% negative here. There were some positive things in the show, and I want to start off with that. So if you're a big fan of a lot of the games that have come out, like on the Wii U and on the Wii, and you look forward to games like Splatoon and Xenoblade, I get that. I understand it. You're a fan of Nintendo and anything that comes out on this system. Even if it wasn't made by Nintendo, if it's exclusively on a Nintendo system, I can see how someone would be loyal to that, especially if it's the only system you have. So with all of that aside, if you are into Nintendo and you're looking for a lot of different games now, third-party games, one of the big ones for me was the Ultra Street Fighter 2. Now, that came actually as a surprise. I don't know if it's going to be an exclusive, but pretty much what it looks like to me is just the HD remix, which came out years ago, even before Street Fighter 4, with two new characters. And they're not really totally new characters. It's Evil Ryu and Violent Ken. So it's a enhanced version of those two characters. As much as that kind of appeals to me because I'm into fighting games, I probably wouldn't spend the extra money to purchase that game all over again just for that. So now let's get into Super Mario Odyssey. Now, we were anticipating this game to at least be shown yesterday, and it was. We got a title, we got a lot of gameplay, and for the most part, I actually kind of like what I saw. I'm really excited over it. I love Mario, so that's not going to really be a surprise. Now, I was a little bit iffy with the whole city kind of thing, Grand Theft Mario kind of world. I'm not too sure about it. I don't really like the way the graphics look there either, but I will say that as far as the gameplay aspect goes, the jumping from building to building and that kind of stuff seems like it would be really cool. But it's still in development. It's still got a ways to go, so it's probably going to look better when it's done. I do like the play mechanic where Mario tosses his hat and jumps on it to try to get further. I think that's a cool platforming aspect of the game, but I don't like the eyes, and that whole kind of story thing seems a little strange to me. But overall, I thought it looked really, really good and really promising. But I will say, what was up with Bowser and that whole pimp thing? What is he? Is he a pimp now? Like, I don't know. I just kind of wish that they would keep things a little bit more traditional while expanding the gameplay and doing different things. It just, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling that. Overall, it looked pretty good though, and it kind of seemed to be doing a Mario Sunshine kind of take on things where you're going into different worlds. What would be really cool is if they would give us a world where you go back to like Delfino Plaza or something like that, or maybe some of the other Mario worlds in the past. That would be really great, and I am looking forward to that. Now, obviously, the big title everybody is talking about is Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I gave that game a lot of crap, especially when I was looking at it on the Wii U version. I still think the Wii U version is incredibly inferior, and I am actually predicting now that they are going to cancel the Wii U version, but that's a story for another video. But back to what they're showing here on this particular trailer, it looks so much better. And I like that they're showing some of the story and they're showing so much emotion between Zelda and Link, which is something that you really didn't see in other Zelda games. So I like that new aspect of it. And I have to say, I'm actually looking forward to this a lot more than what I was before. I still kind of agree and feel like there are other better open world games out there. Of course, we haven't played this yet, so I could be wrong, but just from what they've shown, I think it's going to be promising for Zelda, and I'm sure it's going to be very successful and actually help sell Nintendo Switch consoles because it's going to be available at launch. Okay, so Nintendo fanboys, brace yourselves, because now this is when I go all in and I start really ripping some of the things that I saw yesterday that I just can't ignore. So let me start off with Splatoon Part 2. Now, when they first started showing clips of this, I thought, oh wow, they're porting over Splatoon. A lot of people like Splatoon. I never thought it was that fantastic. I thought it was just kind of so-so, but come to find out it was an actual sequel, which kind of blew me away, not in a positive way, but it looked the same as Part 1. I thought it was just a port. It didn't look really that much more enhanced, and of course they had this guy presenting it, and you know, he's doing this posing, and it's just a cheesy way to kind of show off the game. I wish that they would focus more on gameplay and talk more about the game than have these kind of strange interpretations of their game design as opposed to actually showing us more game. Now, I know by now a lot of Nintendo fanboys are probably really upset and are ready to tune out of my video, but just hear me out for just a little bit longer. If you can just bear with this, I'm trying to be as objective as I can without being offensive to your loyalty, to your system, but let's just be honest here. A lot of this shit was just garbage. This 1-2 switch that they showed off has to be the dumbest idea I think I've ever seen for a video game.
Fathers, I'll cover you. Come, trust me. I'll cover you.
If it was just a side app as opposed to an actual presentation to show off a new console, I'd be like, okay, whatever, cool. But it wasn't. It's actually a game that they're showing off for the console. And the concept, as I understand it, is you take the Joy-Cons, you and another player, and you kind of hold it to your side, and then you aim it at the person in front of you, and whoever presses the button first wins. Kind of like Clint Eastwood, right? Kind of like a whole cowboy kind of standoff shootout kind of thing. That is silly. It is dumb. You're not even really aiming anything. I mean, you can do more with Nerf guns or a water gun or a laser pointer. I just don't see how this is a video game that anyone is really going to be proud to show off on a next generation console. Like, what happens? What, some graphics appear on the screen, on the Switch screen, or what is your Joy-Con vibrate when you win? I mean, what is the point? I don't get how this is great. I don't get how this is even worth presenting. And to pass this off as something revolutionary or something even cool when we've virtually had laser tag since I was a kid just makes no sense. Now, one of the other games that they showed off, a new IP, is a game called ARMS. Now, I love fighting games, and my channel is actually mostly centered around fighting games. I do cover other games, but mostly fighting games. That's really what I'm known for. And I would really be hyped up if Nintendo was, you know, bringing out some new fighting game. Instead, what do we get? First of all, the most unoriginal title fucking ever, ARMS. Like, give me a break. Like, what's next? A running game where it's called Legs? Like, I just didn't understand it. So now you have these characters, and you're using your Joy-Con, and you're moving it back and forth. You're throwing these punch-like motions, and, you know, the arms are flying all the way, these slinky-ass arms. I don't understand what's so appealing about this. But of course, this motherfucking game will probably end up at EVO, bumping out real fighting games, because that's the kind of shit that happens with Nintendo and their fans and the stupid ass games that they create at times. And this is just one of these things that really aggravates me. I'm watching this and I'm thinking, God, this is a joke. Even the presentation that they showed with the schoolgirl and the guy was just, it was stupid. It was just stupid. So if it turns out that this game comes out and it gets horrible reviews and Nintendo still thinks that it's fucking awesome, maybe they should do a sequel just as shitty and call it ass. Now, maybe I'm the one that's out of touch. I think that when you think of Nintendo and what they've been doing, maybe if you're into tablets and you're into handheld gaming a lot, maybe this is really appealing to you. Maybe you're looking at Nintendo much differently than the way I looked at Nintendo growing up, as Nintendo being a home console. If you're in your 20s, maybe a little younger, maybe Nintendo means something totally different to you than what it means to me, and all of this is good. Maybe you don't see Nintendo as competition to Sony or Microsoft for the PC. Nintendo certainly doesn't view it that way. But if you think of the logic here, see, Nintendo Switch is priced like a console, but it's kind of advertised and pushed like a handheld or like a tablet. The only problem is it's inferior to both as far as its hardware is concerned. Because if you really think about it, if you break it down on the console end of it, it's nowhere near as powerful as a PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, let alone the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Scorpio coming out for Xbox. And let's not even talk about the PC. But then if you look at the tablet portion of it, well, we have tablets now that run at a much higher resolution. This is only doing 720p max. And there have been reports that the GPU is actually 40% slower when it's not on the dock. So it's incredibly inferior to both tablets, phones, and home consoles. It's only going to have 32 gigs of memory, which really isn't enough. Maybe it's enough for this system because maybe they're not going to have too many games, and maybe most people aren't going to have that many games to save or whatever. I don't see how, as far as the hardware end of it, this is successful. And I just broke down some of the software, and other than Mario and Zelda, and maybe a couple of the other ones like Xenoblade and maybe Splatoon Part 2, other than that, what's the software lineup going to be for this thing when it launches? So hardware-wise, it's inferior. Software-wise, it's lacking. I wouldn't say it's inferior, but it's lacking. And in some aspects, it's really inferior when you talk about, 1-2 switch and this other nonsense. So if you're standing on middle ground here and you're looking at this objectively and you're not fangirling over the fact that Nintendo is making something, if you're just looking at it that way and you're saying to yourself, okay, the hardware is not really exciting me, the software, other than, maybe 2 games, isn't really exciting me. So this has to be priced at, has to have a great pricing point. So let's take a look at that. First of all, Nintendo did announce that they're going to have an online service fee by the end of the year. Right now it's going to be free starting in March, but at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, they're going to charge a price. They didn't say what, and they didn't say what you get as far as the content is concerned. This kind of troubles me because if you go back to, I don't know how many iterations of Mario and Mario 1, 2, and 3 and Donkey Kong Country and Metroid, I don't know how many times I've purchased these games over and over again, downloading them, and Nintendo keeps charging us over and over. They don't kind of just say you bought this 1 or 100 times, we're not going to keep charging you. So if you want to kind of go back and have some nostalgia, you have to pay for that. I don't see many multiplayer games on here, so I don't know what they're going to really offer us to justify charging an online service like Microsoft and Sony does, because there's a lot of content, quite frankly, and we get free games from Microsoft and Sony. So I don't even know how that's going to work. But let's look at the pricing. Now, one of the cool things, the features about the system is the dock. So if you have, theoretically, if you have multiple docks in your home, you have one maybe in your living room and one in your bedroom, right? So you want to pick up the screen, you want to play it off screen, great. You want to go and play it in your living room, you put it on a dock, you play it on your living room. Now, if you want to go upstairs to your bedroom, you know what? You take it up, you put it in a dock in your bedroom, and you play it on your TV in your bedroom. That extra dock is going to cost you $90. You think about that for a moment. It's a charging station that has an HDMI that plugs into your TV, and that is going to cost $90. That is absurd. Now, the Joy-Cons, there's 2 of them. There's a left one and there's a right one. Those are both going to be $50 each. If you buy it bundled together, it is $80. Those things are made for people with tiny hands. How do you justify charging something that's the size of a car door opener so much money? That is totally ridiculous. Nintendo also announced their Pro controller is going to run $69.99. Hopefully it controls well. Hopefully it's better than the one you got on the Wii U, and it's up to par with the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I don't think it's going to be, but the price is definitely going to be around what we're already currently paying. So at the end of the day, why is everyone so hyped about this system? The only reason why, it's because it's Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's it. And I'm sorry, but no 1 or 2 games is worth purchasing an entire system for. So here are my final thoughts. I think that the Nintendo Switch is not looking really good. And to even be more honest, I think it's looking like total shit. I think I'm going to start calling it the Nintendo shit. But I have a prediction. I predict that if the Nintendo Switch is a success, obviously Nintendo's going to continue doing hardware and they're going to continue doing shit like this over and over again. But I have a feeling that this system isn't going to do that well. I think it's going to be a little bit better than what the Wii U did, but not much better. And I think that's going to be the end of Nintendo as far as hardware is concerned. I don't see them continuously investing in this sort of thing, knowing that they can't compete with what's going to happen within the next couple of years, because between all the technology as far as tablets are concerned, 4K emerging, and all of the things that Sony and Microsoft are trying to do and are accomplishing, I don't see how Nintendo fits in this market of either handhelds or home console gaming. This is just my opinion, but hopefully, and I've been hoping this for a long time, Nintendo will start reconsidering and maybe doing third-party games and, putting them. I would love to see a Mario from Nintendo on an Unreal Engine 4. I would really like to see that, but it's probably not going to happen in the immediate future. Now, just one last point I want to make before I end this video, and it is something that I've had to repeat over and over and over, and I'm sure I'm going to have to go over it again in the comment section for this video. But I am a Nintendo fan, and I have a very high standard for Nintendo, and I don't like the direction that they're going. I think it hurts their brand, I think it hurts video gamers, and I think it hurts gaming in general. But this is just my opinion, and you're entitled to your own opinion. But what I will say, I think we need to start looking at the video game developers at Nintendo, the Miyamotos and the people who are involved in making all these Zelda games, Mario games, Metroid, Donkey Kong Country, and all of that stuff. We need to separate them from the people making the business decisions, because anytime I say anything negative about Nintendo, the first thing Nintendo fanboys want to cry about are the games. So let's just put that aside for now, because as much as I think Nintendo's a great first-party company, they don't make enough software for me to justify buying a whole system, even though I buy them regardless, because I am a Nintendo fan and a real loyalist. I don't just sit here and talk the talk. I put my money where my mouth is. And because of that, I think I'm entitled to criticize. But I think we need to separate these two entities, because it kind of creates a lot of confusion. Like, I can say, you know what, I don't like the direction Sony might take with the PlayStation 4, but I can't deny that the people who make God of War know what they're doing. And I think we need to start looking at Nintendo that way and hold them to the same standard that we hold everyone else to. Nintendo, as a gaming company, they have iconic franchises and they've made some phenomenal games. But as far as the business aspect of it goes and what they've done with the hardware, they haven't really done a good job in a very, very long time. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. If you got something to say, leave a comment down below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I am a tiny, tiny YouTube channel, and I do appreciate all of the support thus far. So thanks again. Mastermyne out.
Da 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 da. Shut up. Da 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 da. Shut up. Da 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 da. Shut up. Da 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 da. Shut up. Da 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 da. Shut up. La 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 la. Shut up. Do 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 do. Shut up. Do 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 do.